The previous video in this playlist focused on how to avoid mistakes and accidents when using WorldEdit, but this video focuses on something completely different, and that is how WorldEdit actually looks to players. Simply put, WorldEdit is obvious. I'm sure you've all seen builds on the public build server and have noticed that they were clearly created with heavy use of WorldEdit. And this is noticeable because WorldEdit leaves rough edges. To illustrate this point, I'd like to take you on a tour of the city of Dalgan. As we enter, it's easy to see that this room is just a rectangular prism cut out with WorldEdit, thanks to the completely flat roof and flat walls. The solution here would be to not make the hallway bigger than you can manage to add detail to. Then we come into the mirror room, which is clearly just a WorldEdited sphere because there isn't enough detail added. The solution here would be to add arches and pillars to hide the sphere. The walkway around the edge is a good start. Another solution is to reduce the size of the sphere so that detail is easier to add. If we turn down the corridor to the left, we can see that this room at the end is just a cylinder with a flat roof and a flat floor. A possible solution here is to reduce the size of the cylinder, making the shaft the main feature. If we continue into the room at the bottom, we can easily tell that it was blasted out with WorldEdit brushes, thanks to the circular pattern remaining on the walls. One solution here is to use smaller brushes. Another solution is to naturalize the end result by hand. One more solution is to utilize the existing cavern in every cave to your advantage, or some combination of all of those. If we fly all the way back through to the other side of the mirror room, we can see a good example of how the natural cavern in every mountain can be used to your advantage. If we continue further, we come into another hallway made with huge WorldEdited rectangular prisms. We can tell this because the walls, roof, and floor are completely flat. One possibility to fix this is to use arches that span over the roof, so that the rectangular shape is hidden by the rounded supports. Alternatively, the size of the hallway could be reduced. Remember, the Grand Tunnel to Trondheim was only 30 feet, or about 10 blocks tall, so there's no reason for this to be 81 blocks or 260 feet, as it is here. Now, all this isn't to say that grand builds don't have their place, but they shouldn't be attempted if you can't add enough depth and detail to avoid WorldEdit's signature look. A good example of a build on a grand scale done right is Galfney. The arches on the roof hide the rectangular prism. The additional walkways add something to fill up the tall hall, and the walls have a lot of depth, as they are lined with rooms that go back 10 blocks or more. So to summarize, to reduce the WorldEdited appearance of your builds, make small edits, avoid using huge, perfect shapes like spheres, rectangular prisms, and cylinders, except where they make sense. Use masks so that your edits are applied only where you want them, and smooth out areas by hand once you have finished using a brush. Some of my WorldEdit tutorials will show you good ways to use WorldEdit to help make building faster.